State Development Moon and others at ESD, they have given us a grant to be able to place investments with the companies that participate in our accelerator so that we can give them that critical capital they need to get started. So we're going to do that with a panel of expert judges who are going to make those investment decisions in real time, and we'll announce the winner that night.
Heather Hage is the president and CEO of the Griffiths Institute. Thanks for giving us some time this morning.
Thank you, Heather.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Go green, they say. But how? Start with your biggest investment, your home. Invest in the future with a new water furnace geothermal heating and cooling system by City Suburban. We at City Suburban have converted hundreds of customers to green energy to heat and cool their home. And we can do the same for you. Now is the best time with the New York State Clean Heat Energy Program, where you can save up to $12,000 while funds are available on your water furnace geothermal system, plus a 30% federal tax credit. They say go green. We say go Geo.
Hi, this is Chris from City Suburban. There's never been a better time than ever to go green. With the New York State Clean Heat Energy rebates and federal tax credit, you can save thousands on the installation, plus save for years to come on energy costs. And like always, every installation comes with City Suburban's POMG. That's peace of mind guaranteed. Call us today at 853-3899. That's 853-3899. Or visit us at citysuburban.com for more information.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Solving mysteries is hard. Streaming them isn't.
We need to know what happened.
There's someone else pulling the strings here.
This month, get in touch with your inner detective and stream the best selection of British mysteries during Mystery Month on BritBox.
That is interesting.
Watch entire series of fan favorites, including the newest seasons of Luther, Silent Witness, Father Brown, Vera, and more.
My lips are sealed.
No one does mystery like the Brits. Start streaming now with a free trial at BritBox.com.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam, and Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, good morning. We are live. It is First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM, 106.9 FM, streaming on the app, and we are streaming this morning on YouTube as well. I was having a computer issue for the last couple of days. I appreciate your patience, but the YouTube stream is up and running this morning. And we welcome in our guest host this morning. Let's see if I can get him on camera here. There he is. Steve Cully, what's up, man?
I am a beautiful man, and the camera loves me, so thank you for positioning it properly. And I would like to say I'm the best podcast host in the universe. You may be the best radio host in the universe while Bill's on vacation.
Well, I'm certainly not the best. I love that you came out with like a WWE style wrestling promo about how great you are.
That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what makes the show special. You got to have energy. You got to have enthusiasm. You got to be passionate about everything you do. And the chance to host this show with you has given me that energy.
So how about that, Smitty? He's on a roll this morning.
Yeah, he sounds just like cutting a promo for the WWE.
Speaking of which, I guess we'll begin there. You guys were just talking about an event you're going to, so I guess we'll give that a quick mention since I put my toe in the wrestling water.
Yeah, so our company, AEW, Smitty and I love it very much. They have a show in Albany on July 26th. And we do some advertising for them out in Town Square in Albany. And we're able to score some tickets for the event. And we are very, very excited to go. I went to the first one in September when they came, Smitty. Were you there as well?
No, I've been to the two Rochester shows. I've never been to to Albany.
Yeah, so the MVP Arena, the setup's wonderful. The tickets right now are actually selling kind of slow, so we're hoping that they pick up in the next 2 weeks. But being super fans, just being there in attendance in person, that makes a difference. Like, I've only been probably to 5 wrestling events, but watching them, I don't think I've ever missed a WWE or AEW show on television. So being able to go in person, it's just such an incredible environment and the atmosphere, especially AEW, Smitty. Wouldn't you say the fans there are, rabid? They really get into it.
Yes, they are indeed.
Yeah, the WWE fans kind of just sit on their hands a little bit. They're not as crazy. So we love going to AEW, and we love watching it. We love going to it. We love supporting it because the more wrestling companies that succeed, the better the industry will be. And I appreciate you devoting a few minutes to pro wrestling.
So, and when is the show?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. 26th.
Yes, July 26th.
So I have my attention set on the Open Championship, which starts today. Actually, it teed off this morning at Royal Liverpool Golf Course. It's happening in England, of course. And Smitty, I always get these wrong. This is a major championship?
This is the fourth.
Fourth and final.
The fourth major, if you consider you got the PGA Championship, the U.S. Open, the Masters, and the British Open. But they always consider the PGA Championship, the Players' Champion as number 5.
Yeah,
but there's the 4 majors. This is the last of the 4. This is the last of the 4.
Cameron Smith, the defending champion, the 29-year-old, will be alongside Xander Schauffele and Wyndham Clark for the opening round. Rory McIlroy is hoping to collect his second straight victory, winning the Scottish Open last week. And McIlroy will be alongside Justin Rose and John Rahm to begin the first round today. I think that group tees off at like 9:40 or something like that.
And, of course, McIlroy's coming off the big Genesis Scottish Open victory last week where he came back from 2 shots down and ended up winning it.
And then since we're on to sports, I guess I'll mention this.
Yankees are terrible, that's all.
Yeah, Yankees continue to struggle. Local baseball, Oneida County Junior Legion Baseball. Hang on, let me just make sure here that this is the Junior Legion. Yes. Ilion improved to 17-0. Ilion Post 17-0 as they beat Whitestown yesterday 4-1. Smith over Oneida 14-6. Utica Post over Clonan 7-6. And the Junior Utica Blue Sox defeating Little Falls Post 11-2. That was Junior Legion action. On the senior side, the tournament championship is today. Utica Post takes on Whitestown at 5:30, and then the winner of that game plays Adrian Post, I believe, for the championship. Adrian has not lost. They entered the tournament middle of the pack. They were 8-8. For instance, the two teams playing in the semifinal, Utica Post is 12-5, Whitestown's 14-3. But Adrian got hot at the right time. They're in the championship. They are 8-8.
Jeff, you you seem to be a baseball guy.
Yes, I am.
Did you play high school Legion baseball as well?
You know what? I regret it. I did not play Legion baseball in high school.
I tried out for the Legion baseball team, and I always got cut. But Legion baseball is so next level. It doesn't get the credit that it deserves. It is so competitive. And just to win those games, just to be in the championship, it goes a long way. It shows the level of talent that we do have in this area, despite not having as many. You know, the last time I was on, we were talking about Little League teams. There haven't been as many Little League teams, but at least at the upper levels, they're sustaining.
Yeah.
And the kids are still playing up to that level.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what else here? Are you a Netflix guy?
Am I a Netflix guy?
Yeah.
I live and die by Netflix.
Oh,
Jeff.
really? Okay, so
Live and die by Netflix.
I don't know if you care about this. Hang on, my mouse isn't working. Let's see. It feels like Netflix is in a three-way race with Twitter and Russia to be declared the most unpopular thing on the planet, and it's hard to tell who's winning at this point. Netflix just got rid of its cheapest ad-free plan, the basic $9.99 subscription. The good news is if you're already onto it, if you're already on it, you can keep it, but new subscribers can no longer have that option. So that's not that bad. There are now just three options. The $6.99 standard with ads, that's one plan. $15.49 standard plan, and the $19.99 premium plan. Elsewhere in Netflix news, almost 6 million new subscribers have signed up in the second quarter of this year, the first earnings period since Netflix cracked down on password sharing.
Well, Jeff, the biggest thing that I've noticed with Netflix, they cut so many popular shows. They'll get some good shows going for 3 and 4 seasons, and then obviously those shows become more expensive.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay for them. So they cut popular shows, and then they just start new ones to try to replace them, and it doesn't always work out, and it ends up frustrating the fans because...
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, there have been some shows that have been cut that should have kept going, in my opinion, a little bit longer.
Well, give me a couple examples because I'm curious to know, do they put a bow on it and they, like, let's say a show goes 4 seasons. Do they put a bow on it and say, okay, here's the conclusion to all these key storylines, or do they just cut it dead in the middle of a storyline and then the show just gets dropped?
There's been a couple, like I know Black Mirror got cut kind of unexpectedly. Stranger Things has been one of the flagship shows. They're keeping that going. Orange is the New Black was one of them that I thought they could have kept going. And, I mean, they wrapped it up with a bow, but Orange is the New Black was one of the flagship shows. And the show, I can't remember the name of it. Davey, maybe you can help me. The one with Kevin Spacey. It was about the government.
Yeah, he and his wife were president or vice president.
That was one of the flagship shows, and it got cut because of everything that was going on with Kevin Spacey. I thought they could have kept that going, but like
House of Cards
and Orange is the New Black were two of the flagship shows for Netflix that really built Netflix. And then, they cut them. And people get really frustrated. And it's a good thing they're keeping Stranger Things going because I believe that sustained a lot of the memberships, or else they would have lost a lot more.
You a big sci-fi guy?
Not at all.
No? But you like Stranger Things?
I like Stranger Things because it's 80s.
Yeah.
I like anything with the 80s, the 80s.
Absolutely.
Like Cobra Kai. They got Cobra Kai.
So do you watch that too?
I watch Cobra Kai, yep.
And that's on Netflix?
That's on Netflix. That started on YouTube Red, and it was so popular that Netflix bought the rights to it, and Netflix kept it going, and that's one of the more popular shows because, people like to relive the 80s. I'd love to go back to 1985, wouldn't you?
Yeah, to do some things over again, I guess, certainly.
Yeah, we all would.
Bill's got a saying that he... let's see. Things aren't the way they always were. Things aren't the way they used to be and probably never were. That's what it is. Things aren't the way they used to be and probably never were.
Well, that confuses me, but okay.
Well, it's that we imagine in our mind it was greater than it actually was.
Oh, okay. I agree with that. That's true. That's because anytime you tell a story tends to grow and embellish a little bit over the years. It was good, but we try to tell it like it was something exceptional, and it may not have been.
We're going to say good morning to, Stefan. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Jeff.
I
was at the Utica Common Council meeting last night.
And how did that go? Stefan, how did that go?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me, bud? How did the meeting go? I heard that they voted to return to 4 lanes.
Yes, they did. It got a little heated, and they voted to turn Genesee Street downtown back to 4 lanes.
Well, you say it got a little heated. What happened?
Well, some of the council members got a little loud, and there was a little disagreement in the council chambers, and some of the one business owner spoke and said that the businesses weren't told about Complete Street, and they said that they would rather it go back to 4 lanes because the way it is now, Complete Street is dangerous, and it brings it's not welcoming to their customers, so they rather be back to 4 lanes.
So was there a discussion about removing supposedly they're not bike lanes, but removing what everyone considers to be a bike lane downtown?
I spoke at the meeting, and I told them that bike lanes are dangerous and that they should consider the bike redoing or moving away with the bike lanes. And I know someone that works downtown, and sometimes people don't look when they open their car door, and they can hit a cyclist.
No, that's true. But I mean, if you're not, again, I said this before, if you're downtown with the 4-lane setup and you're parked on the side of the road, you better be looking when you open your door. Otherwise, you're going to lose your door. Okay? It's
right.
Traffic is congested enough, at least side by side, that you can get a door clipped if you don't look. Now, I don't want to see a bicyclist get clipped by a door from somebody not paying attention, but I'm just telling you, people make that argument. All I'm saying is if you don't look, you're going to get clipped by a truck or something else is going to clip your car. It's not going to be you hitting the bicyclist. So anyway, did you get a standing ovation after you spoke?
I got some claps, and council member Sam Colosimo Testa was very heated and asked Police Chief Williams and Fire Chief Ingersoll about the emergency vehicles, the current state, what it is now, and how dangerous that is, and that they need to consider going back to 4 lanes.
Did both chiefs say that?
They said that they weren't aware of when they first went to.
Gotcha. When they first made the change.
When they changed it, and they said it was passed very quickly that they weren't aware.
All right, so we'll talk in less than an hour. We'll talk with Celeste Friend. Of course, she's a candidate for mayor in the city of Utica, and she's on the council currently. We'll ask her about her vote and what she thinks of this process as it continues to play out. And will there be another change if she's elected mayor of the city of Utica? And when the next time we have Mike Galimi on, we'll have a chance. We'll ask him that same question as well. So now the plan is to go back to 4 lanes. Stefan, I appreciate the info. I hope being at the meeting last night didn't take you away from the Mets win.
No, it didn't. I caught the end of the Mets win, and hopefully they can keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. A 3-game winning streak now, and the Mets look for a sweep this afternoon. Stefan, so be listening for Celeste's interview coming up next hour. We'll get the latest, not that yours wasn't a great report there, but we'll get the latest from a perspective of a council member and a mayoral candidate on what happens next. Thanks, buddy.
Bye.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut him off there. I hit the button too soon. Smitty, that was my fault? Yeah, he's nodding. He's not going to talk into his mic.
I don't think it was your fault.
Nah, I accidentally. It wasn't on purpose. Jack in Rome is on the line, 315-736-0186. Hey, Jack.
Good morning there, Jeffrey.
Stefan?
Stefan had a good statement there. But let me ask you a question. You're riding your bike in Utica.
Mm-hmm.
How do you ride your bike? How do you ride your bike?
You mean where, or like, do I go left leg?
When you're on the road, how do you ride it?
I feel like it's a trick question. I mean, in the road or on the sidewalk?
Yeah, in the road.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I see where you're going. Yeah. Okay.
Do you ride with the traffic or against it?
So I have to confess, it's been years since I rode my bike, and it's even been longer still that I was in a situation with traffic. I think I would typically ride with it. I would ride with it. I'd always be on the right-hand side, yeah, as I got older.
Right. You ride with it just like a motorcycle does and a car does.
Yeah.
But if you watch, majority of the people that ride bikes don't even ride a bike properly. I mean, they're all over the road. They're crisscrossing intersections. Mm-hmm. They're in the wrong lane. I mean, this is another thing they need to fight, because I'll tell you what, when my mom's sister lived up in Watertown had a strict rule. You got your bike marked with a police sticker on it, and you had to go to a bike class. And if you didn't properly ride your bike, you got a ticket just like a car would.
So I think in certain circumstances it might be appropriate, but I don't know that. What they have, like boater safety courses? You're talking about like
motor safety courses. You have to take stuff. I mean, but I see it on the road every day when I go to Utica, because I'm leaving for Utica around about almost 8:00, and I see it every day. People just riding any old way they want on the bike, going up Genesee Street or down Genesee Street.
Yeah.
The lanes don't make a difference. It's how the people ride the bikes.
Jack, I appreciate the phone call.
All right, Jeff.
Yep, thank you. 315-736-0186. So, yeah, the bike lanes are out in the city of Utica. And people ask me this all the time. I'd like to know your take. What's the big deal? I don't understand why there's so much controversy over the downtown traffic pattern, but it affects people. It affects businesses, people who go down there, people who drove down there to go to a business, or maybe they were just on their way to a business in a different part of the city and they had to go through downtown. People said, and business owners have said, they didn't really know this change was coming. I think that upsets people, and then they don't get over it. So they'll say, I don't like this. Well, they could legitimately not like it. I'm just saying you start off on the wrong foot, and it doesn't get any better when you don't notify them first.
Well, Jack made a great point, because a lot of times when people ride bikes, it's a free-for-all. They do weave in. They weave in and out of lanes. I was just behind someone yesterday. They don't give a turn signal, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous, and it's reckless, and the safety course should be required, should be necessary, because so many mistakes are made, and we're lucky that there haven't been more accidents that have happened. So
I don't know, though. We're wrapping up this hour here, and you can get your comments in 315-736-0186 or via the WIBX 950 app. I don't know that you can require people to take a safety course to ride a bicycle.
You can't. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way, unfortunately.
It's not like a boater safety thing where you have to be licensed and everything else. All right, we'll continue the conversation. Celeste Friend coming up next hour, plus the latest from Washington, WIBX 950, Utica, Rome.
It's back to life as usual for all but one of us. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Someone who got lucky last night with the only winning ticket for the 6th largest U.S. lottery prize ever, $1.08 billion in the Powerball.
Lotto officials say the winning billion-dollar ticket was sold at a mini market in downtown L.A. The winning ticket has a cash value of $558.1 million. There is another big jackpot up for grabs this week. Friday night's Mega Millions jackpot estimated to be worth at least $720 million.
Fox's Ted Linder. House Republicans put a spotlight on Hunter Biden again.
The DOJ and the IRS gave preferential treatment to the president's son during a criminal investigation into his taxes.
Congressman Jason Smith. 2 IRS whistleblowers testified about the alleged interference in a case that led to a Hunter Biden misdemeanor plea deal. Here's Gary Shapley.
I'm here because our tax system relies on the American people having confidence it is administered fairly and equally for everyone, regardless of your last name or political connections.
Democrats say the investigation's a bust without merit. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
We are not here today, unfortunately, because the facts have brought us here. We are here today because Donald Trump is exerting an influence campaign.
Speaking of the former president, a judge rejected his attempt to move the upcoming criminal trial in New York related to hush money payments in 2016 to keep alleged affairs quiet. From state to federal court, Trump calls that and other criminal investigations witch hunts. The Rocky Mount, North Carolina area twisted apart by a tornado that damaged homes and buildings, including a Pfizer facility.
Nash County Sheriff Keith Stone telling us reports of maybe 50,000 pallets of medicine destroyed in the damage here.
Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez outside the building. A shooting in Auckland, New Zealand has left 2 people and the gunman dead near the venue of the Women's Soccer World Cup. Right before the first game that was deemed safe to play, New Zealand beat Norway. America's listening to Fox News.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation's Let Us Do Good Village in Land O'Lakes, Florida, is a community that will have about 100 homes for the foundation's program participants. 2 families have already moved in. A Gold Star family and the family of a severely injured veteran moved into the community's first smart home. It's a special place where together families can heal. Make the Let Us Do Good Village the first of many communities like it. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
That huge data breach from a few weeks ago has probably moved off your radar, but your information could still be on the dark web. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious activity, like someone using your info. If there's a problem, LifeLock's U.S.-based identity restoration specialists will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock will help protect your identity long after this breach is forgotten. Save up to 25% your first year. Use promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com.
We have mostly clear skies, 58 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Well, we were discussing it as we wrapped up the first hour there. The traffic pattern will change in downtown Utica once again. Apparently, the Utica Common Council voting last night 6-2 to return to 4 lanes. We'll talk with Utica mayoral candidate Celeste Friend about the topic coming up this hour here on the Keeler Show. There is a new push in Albany to have drivers pay less for speeding tickets. I don't mean Albany. When I say Albany, I mean New York State in the legislature. There is a bill that would cap surcharges to a maximum of 10% of the original fine. The assembly member behind it feels the current prices don't make sense. He says a $45 ticket could end up costing over $300 when everything else is tacked on. Meanwhile, New York State putting $29 million toward installing more electric vehicle charging stations across the state. Governor Hochul says some of the money will also be allocated to rebate programs to incentivize New Yorkers to make the switch, which could add up to $2,000 for each driver. Eligible entities could save up to half on installation of charging stations in ideal locations like apartment complexes and public facilities. The latest round of funding supports New York's goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 85% by the year 2050. Micron is asking for massive tax breaks to build its semiconductor plant in the town of Clay. The tech company is requesting property tax relief and an exemption on sales tax on both the local and state levels. Those breaks are in exchange for their promise of $100 billion worth of investment in the region over the next 20 years. And a story we told you about yesterday, the state's Office of Cannabis Management, that is, now allowing growers to showcase and sell cannabis products at state fairs. Retailers can also partner with up to 3 farmers and a processor to do pop-up sales at locations approved and vetted by the office. OCM, that's Cannabis Management, says another 212 card licenses have been awarded to dispensaries across the state. And officials say here, I'm just double-checking here, this means farmers can now sell their products outside dispensaries. That includes edible and vape cartridges, but smoking still not being allowed at public events. Try telling that to the people that we all see smoking at public events. WIBX News Time, 7:06. Your Weather Center forecast comes to you from Eyewitness News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today becoming warmer, more humid. Late day shower or thunderstorm, mainly to the west, but much of the day will be dry. A high of 85. Tonight, the risk of showers and thunderstorms increases. Low 65. Tomorrow, not as warm with scattered showers and thunder. Breezy, turning less humid late with any showers tapering. High 78. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
All right, in sports, we begin with baseball. The Mets now have a 3-game winning streak. They beat the White Sox last night, a final of 5-1. Justin Verlander pretty dominant. He got the win. Brett Beatty went deep for the Mets. They look for a sweep this afternoon at Citi Field. The Yankees were swept by the Angels in California last night. Carlos Rodon tagged with the loss. Giancarlo Stanton and Frankie Cordero each had solo home runs in the loss. The final 7-3, and the Yankees have now lost 4 straight. They're 50-47. They return home to the Bronx to start a series against the Kansas City Royals starting tomorrow night. The 9th edition of the Women's World Cup kicks off in New Zealand today. The host nation will square off against Norway in the opening match from Auckland. Australia is joint hosting the event and will kick off against Ireland in the following match from Sydney. Nigeria and Canada will each battle in the third and final match of day 1 in Melbourne. The U.S. women begin their tournament in Auckland on Friday against Vietnam. The U.S. is coming off a record 4th Women's World Cup victory after edging the Netherlands 2-0 in the 2019 final from France. And if I'm not mistaken, the U.S. women are the number 1 seed in the tournament, and Vietnam is number 32. They're the lowest seed. So people are expecting a big blowout victory for the U.S. women when they play tomorrow. And then the Open Championship, another major championship up for grabs. They are at Royal Liverpool in England. Cameron Smith will be looking to defend his title after winning last year's event at St. Andrews. Also among the favorites to win, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, and Justin Rose, John Rahm. Those are all among the favorites, as most golf tournaments. Those are some of the bigger names who have some of the best odds to win. Smitty, what did I forget?
Nothing, I guess. You did good.
All right, I did forget American Legion Baseball. Let's see. Junior Legion Baseball, Ilion Post improves to 17-0 as they won by a final of 4-1 yesterday. And Oneida County Senior Legion in the tournament there. The championship is coming up today. A champion will be crowned tonight. Utica Post plays Whitestown Post at 5 o'clock at Donovan Stadium. The winner there then plays Adrian Post at 7:30 for the title. So some comments here coming in on the downtown Utica situation. This comes from Lance and Lee. The Genesee Street debacle will be another nail in the coffin for Celeste, along with the unpaid taxes. We'll get her reaction to that coming up this morning. Ralph in PA wants to know, who's your guest? I missed his name. He looks like a white Cool Mo D with those big reflective sunglasses on. He called them big reflective joints, is what he called them.
Yeah, I try to wear them because I look obnoxious, and I like to draw attention to myself. So having the one leg and the glasses, the combination, riding a scooter, draws a lot of attention, and I look like an imbecile. So that's kind of the look I'm going for.
You don't look like an imbecile. Those are, but for those who aren't watching on YouTube, you have the Pete Alonso-style glasses on, and we're inside, although it is kind of bright in here.
Yeah, I think it's my look. I try to have a hipster look.
And by the way, our guest host this morning is Steve Cully. Steve will be in with me tomorrow as well. many of our listeners know, Steve, you shared an incredible story, a personal story years back, and then we got an update here this year, unrelated, I guess, but you lost your leg.
Yeah, part of it. Yeah, from the knee down. Yeah.
Diabetes.
Yeah, it was diabetes. It was a combination of diabetes and myself not taking care of myself. I was going through a bad situation. I had broken up with my girlfriend. I was in a state of depression, and I just was chain smoking cigarettes and eating too many cookies. And I had an infection, and I didn't take care of it, and I developed sepsis. And sepsis usually wins. And I was one of the lucky ones that pulled through, and they were lucky enough to amputate below the knee. So I'm getting a prosthetic at the Hanger Clinic, and hopefully we'll have my life back soon. But it's been quite the journey since March.
All good now with the leg?
Yeah, all good now with the leg.
You're getting a prosthetic, like today, right?
Yeah, I'm going in today. I got fitted for it, so I'm hoping to take it home. If I don't take it home, then it'll just be waiting on insurance approval, but it should be good to go.
We're going to quickly shift gears here because I want to welcome in Ryan Schmelz from Fox News. He was watching yesterday the testimony regarding the IRS whistleblower and Hunter Biden and the latest there. And I was getting text messages from many of our listeners and messages on Facebook asking me, are you watching this live? Do you see what's going on? Do you hear what they're saying? If you didn't get to see it, here's a bit of a summary on what happened yesterday. Ryan Schmelz from Fox News. Good morning, Ryan.
Hey, good morning. Steve, appreciate you telling your story, man. I know that's going to help a lot of people, so thank you for speaking out.
Thank you. I really appreciate the support.
Absolutely. All right, so on to this hearing, right? So where do you guys want to start?
Well, where do you want to start? I've gotten quite a bit of feedback from everything from these Republicans are crazy to can you believe how corrupt the Bidens are, and others saying, right. I told you the Bidens were so corrupt. So what did we learn yesterday?
Right. So you have Dave Ziegler, or Joseph Ziegler, I should say, who is Mr. X, who revealed yesterday. And he was an IRS agent who was working with Gary Shapley, and he had been with the IRS for 10 years working, directly involved with this Hunter Biden investigation. And he, testified a lot about what the Republicans have been claiming, which is that the Department of Justice, could have charged Hunter Biden with a more severe felony, but ultimately did not do so, and kind of backed up that there was a lot of Department of Justice interference is what he's been alleging, including from the U.S. attorney from D.C., who was also a Biden donor back in the 2020 election. But ultimately, this goes back to the fact that Republicans have been claiming that they believe the Department of Justice was soft on President Biden's son, and that ultimately that there was interference with this. And that's what a lot of these whistleblowers testified. But, it wasn't enough for Democrats who still think that, these were, as Dan Goldman said, good faith actors who's misconstrued the third-hand information that they received.
So, Ryan, let me ask you, because there is some nuance here. There's a difference between being soft on Hunter Biden and the allegation of interference. So just in my mind, if they were to say soft on Hunter Biden, there's some discretion, right, with law enforcement and how they choose to handle things. But interfering is a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, certainly, yes. And the whistleblowers claim that there was a slow-walking investigative step process into the president's son before the 2020 election. But then there were also claims, and this was made before going into the hearing by Gary Shapley, who was one of the whistleblowers. He came on special report and made these accusations and kind of went under oath yesterday and once again made them, which was that you had this situation where IRS agents wanted to execute a search warrant at a series of storage containers that were owned by Hunter Biden. But he claims that, the prosecutors in the case tipped off Hunter Biden's legal team about it. So when ultimately they went to execute that search warrant, it was pretty much compromised by that point. So that was one of the substantial interference claims that were made, and Shapley's been making that for some time.
Did anything concrete come out of this testimony yesterday, or is this more he said, she said, and opinion?
Well, I think one thing that's going to kind of play in down the road is that there's this claim that House Republicans had been making that got confirmed by the whistleblowers that Hunter Biden and his companies raked in over $17 million from foreign sources over a number of years, beginning while his father was vice president, and that goes back to China, Ukraine, and Romania. So that's going to probably embolden Republicans when they continue their oversight investigation into whether or not there's a money trail that President Biden allegedly had a bribery scheme where he was paid off by a foreign national while he was vice president in exchange for policy decisions. Obviously, they still have the burden of proof with that, but I think what happened yesterday might embolden them even more to pursue more into that case.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz joining us this morning on the Hunter Biden and the IRS whistleblowers who were involved in the Hunter Biden investigation. What's the next step from here?
Well, I think just based off what I just said is that you're going to see House Republicans continue to look into this case in terms of trying to trace President Biden's alleged money trail from back when he was vice president, as well as some of his other family dealings. But I think also, pay attention to see if potentially some of these U.S. attorneys that are involved in this case get brought forth, or at least are attempted to be brought forth before a committee hearing at some point, because their name was invoked quite a lot. Matthew Graves is the one who's the U.S. attorney for the District of D.C. I think his name is going to be one we have to follow down to see if the House Oversight Committee tries to bring him before Congress down the road, because allegedly he's one of the names they keep pointing to as somebody who interfered or refused to charge Hunter Biden in many cases. So those are substantial claims, and he might have to be asked to stand for them.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz with us live here this morning. Ryan, thank you so much. Great job.
Hey, thank you. Have a great one, guys.
315-736-0186. Some reaction to that story if you'd like. You can react to the downtown Utica situation, which we're talking about again. And I guess it's over the process, and they're looking to go back to 4 lanes. A 6-2 vote last night. We'll talk about that more this hour. You can comment on the app or give us a call now if you'd like. And what else do I have? I hit the 2 comments we've gotten so far on the app this morning, and I'll check the comments on YouTube when we come back. It's Jeff Manaski alongside our guest host, Steve Culley, this morning. We're going to be talking somewhat with a local Little Leaguer.
Yes, Seco Cup coming up. Big Little League win. I was at the game Monday night. They had a game Wednesday night, and he's just an outstanding talent, and we're really excited to talk to him and his father, Josh Cup, who's a local legend. Golfer, like you said, played in the U.S. Open as well from Rome. So I think talking to those two, he's also my podcast partner. And as I said, I'm the best podcast host in the universe.
And we'll also talk about some bad news for those who would like to be Netflix customers but aren't currently. They're ditching their cheapest plan. We'll talk about that as well. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
The Munson Arts Festival returns to downtown Utica with a car show on Sunday, July 23rd and continues through Saturday, July 29th. Experience the best of the local art scene for free with a sidewalk art show, evening concerts, and so much more. Don't miss fun family-friendly activities each day of the week, like children's crafts, a petting zoo, and an art story with Utica Public Library. Starts 10 a.m. each day. See the full schedule at munson.art. That's munson.art.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information for families that have disabled children to protect the child and to ensure your future wishes are met. So if you have a disabled child, you need to provide them with what's called a special needs trust. This trust allows them to receive an inheritance from you, but also allows them to keep any governmental benefits that they are receiving. It is critically important that if they have an inheritance coming, that they not lose their benefits. Unmarried couples should be aware of important steps they need to take with their estate planning. If a partner dies and does not leave a will, the surviving partner will not likely receive any of the assets from the deceased partner. This can create a lot of problems in the future and must be resolved utilizing a will or a trust. To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
Enjoy a group outing this summer at Saratoga Racecourse. Reservations are now available for the climate-controlled paddock suite, accommodating 80 guests, and for large-scale corporate gatherings at the rail at the 1863 Club. Head down the stretch to the Stella Artois Spa verandas for groups of 50, or tailgate at the Turn with a carload of friends. For casual outdoor gatherings under cover, featuring buffet lunch with Prosecco offerings. Enjoy the Mionetto Easy Goer. Visit Naira.com to book your Saratoga group outing today.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Attention business owners. Was your company impacted during COVID? If you had W-2 employees during 2020 and 2021, you may be entitled for up to $26,000 per employee through the Employee Retention Credit Program. This is not alone. The IRS paid back billions already. We've helped thousands of businesses just like yours, so let us help you. At ERC Business Solutions, we make it simple. We do it all for you, so you won't have to worry about the complex application process. There's absolutely no risk. If you don't get paid, we don't get paid. Most businesses do qualify, even those with no decline in revenues or those that already got PPP. Discover how much you can claim. There's no cost or obligation. Call now, 800-281-9981. That's 800-281-9981. Get up to $26,000 per employee. Call 800-281-9981. 800-281-9981.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Back here, First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. Bill is back with us Monday, I promise. We are joined this morning by our guest host, Steve Cully. Cully sitting in this morning and tomorrow morning as well. We're going to quickly talk some baseball here and get an update on a story we've been telling you about, of course, Utica Little League, the All-Stars playing in the districts and trying to advance to the state level. I'll quickly mention Oneida County American Legion Baseball, the Junior Legion. There was 4 games yesterday. I'll quickly mention Ilion won again. They're now 17-0 on the year, and in the Senior Legion playoffs for Oneida County, the championship game is coming up tonight. You've got Utica Post against Whitestown at 5:30. The winner, 5 o'clock at 5 o'clock, and then the winner there takes on Adrian Post at 7:30. So that's some Legion updates. And how about a Little League update? Cully, introduce our next guest.
Yes, we have Seco Cup and Josh Cup on the line. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, guys?
So, Seco, you guys beat Utica, okay, 2-0 and then 11-3. What did that celebration look like? Wild and crazy, winning your section 3 straight years. What were you guys doing?
Yeah, it was a measured celebration. We didn't do much because we know we still have stuff to do, and we are still expected to maybe do a little damage at the state level.
And what I found impressive, Seco, playing for Saratoga Springs, after the win, I believe that you wanted to take 30 to 40 minutes of batting practice after the game. There's not a lot of players that do that. I remember Ted Williams used to do that. And Josh, you were happy to throw to him even with a massively sore arm.
Yeah. So my dad threw batting practice for like 6 days in a row and probably 300 pitches each day. So his arm was a little sore. Yeah. So I didn't hit great in the game. I had 2 ground outs, so I wanted to get some reps in before the night's end.
So, Jeff,
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Jeff, let me tell you this.
So Steve, this portion of the show brought to you by Advil. I took 1,000 Advil before the game, maybe not quite that many, but was really sore in indoor BP yesterday or 2 days ago, and I didn't know if I was even going to be able to throw BP before the game. I popped a few of those bad boys, and I was ready to go. And, Seco was really excited about winning, and the kids were really excited about winning, but there's a little mini pizza party, and then Seco asked very privately if I could pitch him some batting practice, and the director of our little league, Derek, decided to leave the lights on for us, so we took a little batting practice for a little bit afterwards.
Jeff, let me tell you this. Okay, on Monday, they played Saratoga Springs played Utica here.
Right, so this is the team that bounced Utica. I didn't initially realize that when we talked about this. So Monday was to determine where the championship game would be.
Correct,
And
but
then,
Monday, Seco goes out to Rochester. He plays in an AJGA tour, okay, for golf. This tournament is held for players 19 years old and under to gain playing status on their tour. He finished in the top half of the kids who are predominantly 14 to 19 years old, and it's to gain entry in future events. He finished in the top half, and he's a 12-year-old. So that was a serious win. And his father, Josh, was also an AJGA Rolex All-American in 1992, along with, guess who? Tiger Woods.
Get out of here.
So Seco played in the golf tournament on Monday, drove in, they pitched. He pitched 3 innings, and let me tell you, he basically pitched a no-hitter. He pitched 3 innings. They saved his arm so he could also pitch in the game Wednesday.
Yep.
It was just an incredible performance. And Josh, I don't know how you do it. You drove him out to Rochester. He dominates in the golf tournament, and then he comes back and he dominates pitching in that game. And I was there watching firsthand. And you've really been working on his curveball. How long has that taken to develop?
Yeah, so it hasn't taken that long. I've had a curveball pretty much my whole pitching career, but it wasn't.
All of 3 years.
Yeah.
You got to remember you're not 25 or 45, Seco.
So
Not Gaylord Perry, you know?
I wasn't pitching very well with it, and I was throwing it a bit too slow, so it'd be hanging in there. So I started pitching a little harder, so it kind of turned into a curveball slidery mix.
Slurve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then I started working against batters, and I started getting some Ks and a lot of ground outs. So, yeah.
And Seco also, he's been on our podcast. Josh has been my podcast partner. And now Seco also has his own podcast called Seco Says. Seco is very avid as a sports fan. He's avid as a movies fan. And he's very well-spoken. And that's why I wanted to have him on the show, because I watched him pitch. And he was getting out of innings like they announced the pitch count. Because now it's based on that.
Yes.
He was getting out of innings with 8 and 10 pitches.
Wow.
So they pitched him. I was shocked that they took him out of the game, but now I understand why, because they were able to use him yesterday.
Yeah, 35 pitches or less, and you can pitch on 2 days rest or on 1 day rest.
Yeah,
20 you can go the next day. 35 in Little League you can go the second day after. So he was available again last night. So, yeah, that curveball, Seco, just to get quick out, just to get a little roll over to third, and that's been pretty effective for you. But the fun thing, Steve, you were talking about the golf tournament, and, the history of golf in Central New York is pretty strong. Wayne Levy and Julie Brand, Maura Dunn. I mean, there's a lot of really strong players that have come out of that neck of the woods, and Seco's just trying to kind of continue that. And he's trying to play 2 sports at a pretty high level right now, and it's fun. I mean, we literally got off the course and had to just jam him in the car, and he took a nap.
Wow.
And then before you know it, he wakes up. We're at that parking lot for the Burn Dairy that's right there by the ballpark, and he changed in the bathroom into his uniform from his golf studs. And he prefers the baseball uniform to the golf studs. He struggles with the collared shirts, guys. He's a little more of an informal dude, and so he throws the uniform on, and we get there 2 minutes before BP is supposed to start. So.
Yeah,
So-
it was a really fun day.
We're talking with Seco Cup and his father, Josh Cup. Seco Cup is 12 years old. He plays for Saratoga, the All-Star baseball team, and that's the team, if you're just joining us, that just knocked Utica out, I guess last night. Was the game.
District, yeah.
Was the game last night. So, but I want to mention this because you have to be related. Seco Cup and Josh Cup, you guys must be related to Wes and Lauren, who we've had on the show for their accomplishments in the golf world, and in particular speed golf, right? They literally travel the globe quickly speed golfing.
Yeah,
that's
Josh
right.
is the brother.
Yeah, and Lauren's right from your guys' neck of the woods. She's right there in New Hartford. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We had them on last year when they were competing in, I think, the World Championships it was. I think
that's right.
She might have won one of the events, and then I don't know if he won or if he came in second or third, but we were getting an update throughout the week as they were playing in Ireland, if I remember correctly. So I just wanted to tie that in to those listening now that this is Wes's brother and nephew.
And you want to know what's even funnier is Josh and Seco Cup came back last summer. They had a speed golf event at Rome Country Club, which they own. And Josh and Seco dominated, never playing speed golf before. Seco, at 12 years old, was beating everyone. It wasn't based on age. It wasn't based on anything. He placed in the money in his first ever speed golf tournament. So that's the type of athlete he is. And Josh is doing Josh's Father of the Year. Josh has done such a great job raising him. He never has electronics. He's never on his phone. They're always outside doing something. He's out at 6 o'clock in the morning taking batting practice. I went with them to the YMCA at 9 o'clock at night. He's pitching. He's doing BP. He's taking grounders. And this was in February. So this is how serious this kid is. And Josh and Seco, I just wanted to ask, where do you go from here? Now that you beat Utica, what is the next step?
Okay, so we won divisions, and our divisions is everyone district. So that's everyone pretty close. And then we won sections, which is what we just won. So it was a 3-game pool play, and then whoever has the best record plays in the championship, which that was yesterday.
With Utica, and they were a very good team. They hit the ball really well yesterday. They hit it to the wrong place.
Yeah, they've got some sluggers on that team.
Really cool kids, really cared, and really nice parents. It was a formidable foe, I guess you could say. And then now where are we off to, Seco?
And now, so when you win the championship, you go to the state level. So that is the best 8 teams in the state. And if we somehow pull out a win there, we go to regionals. And then after regionals, if you win, you go to the Little League World Series.
And where is State?
State is in Staten Island this year.
So we're playing South Shore's facility, and I can't remember the other one. But so we're in the very southern end of Staten Island, which is going to be kind of a fish out of water comedy for the 2 kids from small town upstate New York, Rome and Saratoga Springs.
So, and when do you do that? One of those games this weekend?
Yeah, we head up there Sunday afternoon for a Monday morning kind of little parade that we do with all the other teams that have made it, and then the games start immediately thereafter. So Monday early afternoon is when the games start.
Awesome. Well, Dad, Josh, I know you're very proud, and Seco, congratulations, good job, and keep up the good work.
Hey, Josh. I will.
Thanks, guys.
I'll be there for lunch, so please have my soup ready.
Powder will be served hot, and we'll put a little extra in the bowl. Okay.
Thank you, buddy.
That is Seco and Josh Cup. His dad, Josh Cup, joining us, and Seco Cup pitched Monday and Wednesday, and sadly for the local fans, he pitched Utica out of the Little League tournament.
Well, I couldn't believe it because Josh is my good friend. We do a podcast together, and Seco now does a podcast. Seco says he was telling me he was driving to Rochester to play in this golf tournament.
Right.
He teed off at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then they got in their car, and they drove all the way from Rochester back to the New Hartford Little League field, and he was the starting pitcher. And he pitched 3 innings. He pitched 3 innings lights out. And I was shocked. Like, I could never do that. I could never go play 18 holes and then drive and play in a baseball game. You know, he pitched and then he moved to shortstop. He made some great plays at shortstop. He's just an incredible kid, an incredible athlete, and you know, you don't see kids like him anymore. Some of my friends' kids, I go over, they'll have their friends over. There's 4 of them, and they're sitting on their phones.
Yeah.
Seiko never sits still. He's always playing sports. He's always doing something. And Josh does such a great job as a father with him. And he's personable. He's not shy. He talks. You know, you ask him questions. He doesn't give you one-word answers. I'm just a really big fan of him.
Well, I'm glad you coordinated that, and we got a little update there. So they knocked Utica out, but we wish Saratoga the best of luck going forward.
We do.
The tie with Wes and Lauren,
Yeah.
who we talked to and followed their progress last year as they were competing for,
The
global
speed golf,
championships in speed golf, which is interesting in its own right. WIBX News Time 7:35 coming up. We're about to get an update on what happened last night at the Utica Council meeting. Of course, Stefan called in this morning. In case you're just joining us, looks like they're going back to 4 lanes downtown. And I know there's been so much talk about this, but it's a process thing. It's back and forth. We'll get a take from a couple of different members who were there and had a chance to vote last night. How did they vote and why? That's up next. First News, Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Go green and save green right now at City Suburban. There has never been a better way to heat and cool your home than with a new Mitsubishi electric heat pump system from City Suburban. They provide energy-efficient comfort year-round, are whisper quiet, 40% more efficient than conventional systems, and offer room-by-room temperature control. And the best part is right now you can save up to $9,000 in rebates with the New York State Clean Heat Program while funds are available. Go green and make the switch today, and as always, receive City Suburban's POMG. That's peace of mind guarantee.
This is Chris from City Suburban on Route 233 in Westmoreland. There has never been a better time to upgrade your system than right now. You can save up to $9,000 with New York State Clean Heat rebates and make your home more comfortable and efficient for years to come. Call us today at 853-3899. That's 853-3899. Or visit us at citysuburban.com.
Sarah's Flooring Outlet is the area's leading flooring store for Pergo Extreme. Sarah's is the area's leading flooring store for anything flooring. Hardwoods, tile, carpeting, they have you covered with the largest inventory. You're going to get the best selection, the best price. And on Pergo Extreme by Mohawk, it's a guarantee. They have the 60-mile radius deal. And that is, it's a guarantee where you get the best price on Pergo Extreme anywhere within a 60-mile radius of the store. Pergo Extreme from Sarah's offers deeper visuals, a better protection, and a deeper warranty. It's worry-free for life, 100% dent-proof, waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof, only at Sarah's. We had hardwood floors put in by a craftsman from Sarah's Flooring Outlet. They're beautiful. And the service was top-notch. If you're looking for flooring, why would you go anywhere else? You would go to the place where they have the largest inventory in all of Central New York. It's Sarah's Flooring Outlet. And you can get 6 months interest-free financing right now in Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and always online at sarahsflooringoutlet.com.
The Munson Arts Festival returns to downtown Utica with a car show on Sunday, July 23rd and continues through Saturday, July 29th. Experience the best of the local art scene for free with a sidewalk art show, evening concerts, and so much more. Don't miss fun family-friendly activities each day of the week like children's crafts, a petting zoo, and art story with Utica Public Library. Starts 10 a.m. each day. See the full schedule at munson.art. That's munson.art.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, back here on the Keeler in the Morning Show on WIBX. It is 7:39. Bill is back with us on Monday, guest hosting today and tomorrow. Steve, you're so special. You got to guest host twice.
Well, like I said, best podcast host in the universe. Who else are you going to find that's going to be a better guest host than me in the area? You're not going to find one. So I am the guy, and I am going to be taking it to the next level. Because Bill always puts my microphone on mute, and you haven't muted me yet. So
I
that's a good
haven't
thing.
yet. No, I haven't. And I was going to say, I said you're hosting back-to-back days, but we haven't gotten to tomorrow yet. So
Right,
we'll
that's
see
true.
how this works
That's
out.
true.
On the line right now, Samantha Colosimo Testa, Utica councilperson, for an update on a vote last night. And once again, we're talking the traffic in downtown Utica. Sam, it's going back 4 lanes now?
I'm only answering that if I become a guest host. I mean, I don't know why I haven't done it yet.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna pencil you in for the next time Bill is away. But you better not bring that cold or whatever you have into the studio.
I'm very unfortunate. It's been, I don't know if it's from the smoke or what, from in the air, but it's been pretty congested the past few days.
Well, I hope you're feeling better. You were able to attend the meeting last night, right?
Yes.
And
Yep.
what are they going to do? Go with the paint thinner and go down the side of Genesee Street and pull them?
I mean, hopefully they actually finish the project that they're supposed to do this time. So the legislation that we passed last night is to bring the original design back to Genesee Street. And that's with the 4-lane concept, not with the buffer lane, not with the bike lane, not with the center turning lane, just to go back to the original design.
All right. So what is your take on this? You voted for this, and why?
Well, because, I mean, again, from the start of this project, back in October, we were given a piece of paper. It was passed within 15 minutes. They kept continuously saying, oh, the experts said it. The experts said it. There wasn't any experts involved in this design project from the beginning. And unfortunately, it was flawed. You watched fire trucks driving down the center turning lane or the delivery lane as a norm. You watched traffic backed up in the middle of the street. The design didn't work the way that they had it, unfortunately. And people had to deal with nonsense for the past 9 months. And I think everybody just got to the point where enough was enough. And you've seen the majority of the Common Council do a temporary trial run and now, change it back permanently to those 4 lanes.
Talking with Samantha Colosimo. Go ahead, Utica councilperson, about the vote last night, and we'll be joined by mayoral candidate and current councilperson Celeste Friend coming up in just a couple of minutes.
It was very unfortunate for Celeste, too. I mean, she stated on the floor that public safety was the number one concern. So it was actually kind of comical. It's like, Celeste, public safety is number one concern.
Well,
you asked the police chief, did you know about this before it was implemented? No, we didn't know about it. Fire chief, did you know about this before it was implemented? No, we didn't know about it. So how could public safety be your number one concern when 2 of the most important people in the city regarding public safety didn't know about this, nor had any input from when it was implemented? So, I mean, it was again, it was an unfortunate situation from start to finish. They did not talk to any engineers. They can use whoever they want. I mean, our own city engineer wasn't even there last night to defend any of their concepts.
So, Sam, I've got Celeste is actually in studio now. I'm going to let her quickly react to, if you'd like to, Celeste. I'm not looking to get a debate going or an argument. I just, because you specifically addressed her. Do you want to respond to that at all, Celeste?
No, I can't. I'm not listening.
Okay. You can't hear it. Okay. Doesn't have the headphones
I
on.
can't even be a co-host. You won't even respond to that.
Oh, no, I will. Next time I'm penciling you in. I said you're being penciled in.
And, Linda Luby, who's the part of the State Department of Transportation, had sent the city a letter stating that they were, in favor of design concepts for road diets. So I get the letter at like 4 o'clock yesterday. I called her office. I said, how do you – I appreciate the fact that you're giving the Common Council, a letter, supporting road diets. I said, but, can you address the center turning lane? No, I won't address the center turning lane. Okay, can you address the bike lane, buffer lane? No, I can't address the bike or buffer lane. So, we get a letter not even addressing any of the concerns that, what the council had in regards to, the center turning lane and buffer lane. It's been aggravating for the past 9 months. And I think that if anybody wants to change the design of Genesee Street, they go back to the drawing board and start the idea over again.
Do you mind if I ask a quick question?
Sure, go ahead.
How long will it take to go back to 4 lanes, the construction? I mean, is it going to be a big project? How long is this going to take to get done?
Well, let's just say the last time they did it, they passed it on a Wednesday and it was done by a Saturday. So it can't take that long. It's depending on how long the administration wants it to take, and hopefully the mayor doesn't, add any other lines inside the city and make up his own ideas or rules as it goes along. And just changes the concept back to its original design.
Samantha Colosimo.
That's what we can hope for.
Sorry, Samantha Colosimo Testa, Utica council person. I know you're under the weather. Thank you for joining us this morning. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, no problem.
All right, and so we'll get reaction to that. The other side of the coin here, and joining us in studio is Utica councilperson and mayoral candidate Celeste Friend. Good morning, Celeste.
Good morning, Jeff.
So I don't know if you could hear any of that.
Not really, but we were in council meeting last night,
so I know
her position.
A little chippy, and this wasn't intended to get you to go back and forth. But will you react to what's your side of this, and how do you feel going forward about the original design for Genesee Street?
Well, I'm disappointed, obviously, right? I voted consistently for this complete street design, so obviously I'm disappointed and frustrated, like everybody. I think at this point is very frustrated with the whole process. One of the frustrations is that it seems that no matter how often we tell people that the traffic congestion issue will be resolved by new lights, and that those lights are on order and that they're going to be installed. It's a matter of a light that includes a left-hand turn signal. And that once we install new lights, we can retime them to make sure that they're synchronized appropriately. That will clear up what I actually do consider minor congestion downtown. I know there's a difference of opinion about that. Mm-hmm. So no matter how often we tell people that that's a solvable problem and that we're in process of solving that, it comes up again. And then the other issue that comes up is the merging of two lanes from North Genesee when you cross Oriskany. So you're heading south on Genesee. There are two lanes that allow you to cross. You can cross Oriskany in two lanes, but when you get over to Genesee on the other side of Oriskany, it becomes one lane. That's fixable by a matter of the state DOT repainting the arrows on those lanes on the north side. So currently there's one lane that is right turn only. There's one turn that is that allows you to either go straight or turn. I'm not good at left and right. Either turn left or go straight, and then there's one lane that allows you to go straight. So there are two lanes that allow you to go straight. Literally all the state DOT has to do is repaint those arrows so that you have a left turn only, a right turn only, and a go straight only. That will a matter of paint by the DOT will completely solve that problem. The DOT won't do it until they have formal engineer stamped blueprints from an engineering firm. We're in the process of getting those. We spent money to get those from CNS Engineering, and we expect to have them, I think, sort of momentarily. And the state, because they do their own painting, don't hire contractors, they could paint that. They could repaint those arrows in a matter of hours once they've met their sort of legal requirement of this stamped blueprint. So the two big problems that people keep complaining about are both solvable problems, and in the process of being solved. And it doesn't seem to matter to people how often we say that. They say, but the congestion, but the merging. Well, no, we answered that. So it feels like we're not in a conversation with people who are in sort of operating on good faith. People who are really listening to the reasons, and if you still don't like it, you still don't like it. But don't keep making the same argument when we, in good faith, have answered that argument.
Listen, I think the conversation on this, it's funny. I wish every issue in the city or the county or the state got this much attention and this much of an opportunity for both sides to air their opinions on this. I have two questions about what happens. Well, how we've gotten here. I'm not disputing at all what you said about DOT coming in and changing the arrows and repainting this, but why are we only talking about that at this point now? Like, why we had two trial periods? It's been like this for 9 months. Why wasn't that addressed? And then people, I think, if they saw it, they would go, okay, they have addressed it.
Right. So a couple of things there. I think we have talked about this from the beginning. At the very beginning, we knew.
But why hasn't it been painted? It's been painted and repainted twice.
Not the arrows, though. Because those arrows are on the state DOT, and they have different requirements. So they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it until they knew that we were going to make it permanent.
Okay.
And then we made it permanent, and they said, "Okay, get us some stamped blueprints from an engineer." That kind of stuff takes a while. But I think we've known from the beginning that that's one small, and it really is a small issue. It really is a matter of repainting 3 arrows. So I think that we've known from the beginning that needed to be done, but the state DOT isn't going to do that for the sake of a trial run. So, but I think you're absolutely right that we haven't communicated any of these things well enough. And I think it's unfortunate that all of this work of this is an important thing that we're doing to the heart of our city, and all of the work of that fell on one part-time council person from the first ward, right? She ended up being held responsible, Katie Aiello, and expected to be responsible for doing all the communication with the business owners along that stretch, doing all the communication with the public. Why didn't and I wish that the administration had taken a more active role in the communication with the public, and in particular with business owners on that stretch. With the administration sort of asked the council members to do a lot that they could have done themselves, and they have the resources to do it.
Yeah, I was wondering
We're
about that.
part-time council members. It's this thing came up over, why didn't you talk to every last commercial property owner? Well, she did talk to a lot, but it's hard because we're part-time council members. We don't do this full,
I understand.
we do a lot of hours in a week, but there's only so much time you have to talk to everybody.
And it's funny that this is something that is not in your district, but you are often, because you're running for mayor and you're involved in different projects, you're often asked about this particular issue, which is outside your district. So I wanted to ask you.
It's unfortunate that we're still talking about this 9 months later. I don't mean that as a criticism that we're still talking about it because it's still an issue. We should have tried this, seen that it worked. It clearly did work. It reduced accidents in that area by 22%. And then we should have made it permanent and moved forward to all the other pressing issues that people care about.
Why didn't the administration do more with this? It seems like there are certain issues that come out where it's like a football. He hands it off and he goes, run with this.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to ask him. I'm not going to try to.
Because the initiative for this, the push for this came from the administration, right? It wasn't born at the council, was it?
Actually, the Complete Streets was born at the council by Samantha Colosimo.
Right, Complete Streets. But I mean, this particular change to Genesee Street downtown at this time.
Right, because we had repaved it. And so when you repave it, you've got to stripe it. And so the question is, which way do we want to stripe it? This is the opportune moment to integrate a road diet, which makes everybody safer, which makes the street better in a whole bunch of ways, et cetera, et cetera.
We're talking with Celeste Friend, Utica council member and candidate for mayor in the city. Cully?
Hi, Celeste. I just had a quick question. Do you think there's a lack of understanding from the people, from the business owners about this issue, that they fully don't understand everything that's going into it, and they're just making these remarks, or they're making these decisions out of emotion or out of feelings, and they just don't have a full grasp of what the issue is?
I do think, and I think that we haven't, as a city, done a good enough job to explain the whole thing. Yeah. So what I imagine, the vision I would have for how we would do this is that we would fill up the council chambers with everybody who owns property along Genesee Street. Which mostly in downtown is going to be commercial property owners. And we would fill up the chambers and we would talk to them and we would show them the drawings in advance. I mean, one of the things that happened is a lot of people were confused that we were still operating on the basis of drawings which are very old, which had a different kind of configuration. We weren't doing that. But how are they supposed to know that? That's the last time they saw a map, was that map. Well, that's not the map we're using. Exactly. But you can't blame them when that's the only map we've ever shown them. So I think what I imagine in my mind, you fill the council chambers up with all the people who care about this, and you have the engineers, and you could have engineers saying, here's how we've redrawn the streets, here's how we're going to restripe them. You have Scott Ingersoll could come in and explain how the Opticom system works, which is a GPS-guided system that will turn every light green for an emergency vehicle. It's a beautiful system. We don't have it in place yet because we need to order the right lights. It's about the lights themselves, the physical lights have to be different. I'd love to be explaining that kind of stuff to the public. I have a newsletter that explains, I love explaining those intricacies of government, of how it works, and putting that information out there. That doesn't mean everybody's going to immediately agree, and we're not going to, go off into the sunset singing Kumbaya. But we could have a little bit more of a meeting of the minds if people just had the most basic information.
And knock on wood, if you were to become mayor, would you be able to influence or change this decision in any way? Would you be able to do anything different becoming mayor to affect what we're going to be doing now?
So that's a question that I'm going to have to leave to lawyers. And since I'm not mayor, I don't have the ability to go up and speak to Corporation Counsel and ask about, sort of the powers of the mayor. At one point, Councilwoman Colosimo Testa did say very clearly on the floor of the council, why are they bringing this to us? Why aren't they doing this themselves? Yeah. I think she believes that the administration has the power, the mayor and the administration have the power to do this on their own. Again, I need a lawyer to sit down and let's look at the charter and see exactly what that says. It's both about the powers of the mayor, but also the powers of the public safety commissioner, which at the moment is the same person. But what I would like to do, and I think that this is really the right moment for this, is to conduct a big, what they call a wayfinding study, which is both a traffic study, but it's also wayfinding. How do we find our way in the city? When new people come to the city, can they find Roscoe Conkling? Do they know where the golf course is? Do they know where our beautiful new skate parks are? So and I would like to do a comprehensive wayfinding study for the whole city. We've done all of the traffic designations and stop signs and yield signs one piece at a time over the last 100+ years. Let's stop and look at the whole thing as a single organic, holistic entity. Where should we have stop signs? What should the speed limits be? Are there any streets that we should make into one-ways? Are there any one-ways that shouldn't be one-ways? Let's do an entire, wayfinding study for the entire city that takes all of these questions into account, and then let's move forward from that.
All right, so I know you've got to be out by 8, so just a couple quick listener questions before we let you go. How much did it cost the city the first time when they painted, and then how much is it going to cost this time when they change it? Do you know?
So I don't know how much it's going to cost to change it, because that will involve both grinding and painting. So you have to use a grinder, and that's something we don't have. So we have to bring in an outside contractor to grind off the current lines in order to repaint. They painted the very first time for the trial back last October. They painted in relatively, I don't want to say, it's not temporary paint, but it's the kind of paint that wears off. It's not that good epoxy-based thick stuff that you see at a crosswalk.
That is literally in the spring, was that? They redid that recently?
They haven't yet painted with the really high quality paint.
Right. But when you're talking about that lesser quality, that's not the epoxy.
That was last October.
And then it's been repainted again.
And some of it has been repainted.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
So I don't know exact figures. I believe that at this point we've invested something like $350,000, including the traffic light that we've ordered, because that traffic light that we need that has a left-hand turn that is equipped for Opticom, so that the traffic can move more smoothly downtown. So including that, we've spent $350 so far, and that's all money that.
Final question.
Yep.
There seems to have been a change of heart. There were issues about this vote. There were votes related to this project that went 5-4 in favor of complete streets or 3 lanes or whatever we want to call it. Last night, this move to go to 4 lanes passed 6-2. What happened to those other 2 or 3 votes?
Again, you're going to have to ask them. I think it's unfortunate. From the beginning, what a number of my colleagues, my Democratic colleagues, were arguing was this is in the first ward. This should be the first ward's decision. There are members of the council who believe very strongly in that principle, that we should each have a certain amount of independence in our own wards. This is Ms. Aiello's ward, and that principle seems to have gone out the window, and I don't know why.
This affects so many people, though, especially the downtown area. You don't think the whole council should have a say on this?
I think that that's a good point. I think that there's a sense in which Genesee Street belongs to everybody, right, and not just to one ward. It's not like Emerson Ave in South Utica, which really doesn't affect people in other parts of the city. I think that that's a really good point. But I also think that there should be a certain amount of deference to the person whose ward it is, and who also happens to own a business right there on Genesee Street.
So, but this, I'll just counter with this point, and we've got a minute left. This is so impactful to the broader scope of the city. I mean, the argument with the hospital downtown, it's a regional asset that brings so many people downtown. So this is something that not just the city, but the whole, and I'm not saying the whole region should vote on this, but just beyond one district.
Yeah.
The first ward seat, and this is not a criticism, but this is a fact, was like 240 votes to 120 votes, where people who ran in other districts had 3 and 4 times that number, but didn't win a seat on the council. I just think that's a very important decision to be left up to one counselor.
I think that's a good point. I think that's fair. I do.
I appreciate you coming in as always,
Yeah,
and talking
absolutely.
issues out, and
Yep.
it's good to hear from you. We'll catch up again with you next week,
Terrific.
I'm sure, as we're heading toward November
Right.
and the Utica mayoral race. That is Celeste Friend,
Thanks very
current
much,
council
gentlemen.
person. Thank you, and a candidate for mayor. We'll get your reaction coming up next. It is First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM, 106.9 FM. We are on YouTube this morning, and the stream is working. Everything's working this morning. I imagine it's going to break down before Bill gets back, but fingers crossed, hopefully it won't. Back with our final hour today on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Dave Anthony, Fox News. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a Democratic presidential candidate, is going to be a star witness at a hearing next hour focused on the censoring of political speech.
I was the first one that the administration started censoring.
Kennedy's COVID posts were removed online, labeled misinformation, which he'll again deny, testifying before a committee investigating what the GOP claims is the weaponization of the federal government.
Democrats Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Dan Goldman, Judy Chu sending a letter to the committee asking he be disinvited, writing, quote, Mr. Kennedy has repeatedly and recently spread vile and dangerous anti-Semitic and anti-Asian conspiracy theories that tarnish his credibility as a witness and must not be legitimized with his appearance before the U.S. Congress.
That's Fox Business Network. Cheryl Castoni. Yesterday, House Republicans held another hearing focused on President Biden's son Hunter. 2 IRS whistleblowers testified there was political interference in a tax evasion investigation that led to a misdemeanor plea deal.
The U.S. attorney in Delaware in our investigation was constantly hamstrung, limited, and marginalized by DOJ officials.
That's Joseph Ziegler. Gary Shapley told lawmakers.
Prosecutors instructed investigators not to ask about the big guy or dad when conducting interviews.
Democrats called it a waste of time. Here's Congressman Jamie Raskin.
Like every other try by our colleagues to concoct a scandal about President Biden, this one is a complete and total bust.
A shooting in Auckland, New Zealand left 2 people and the gunman dead, 6 others injured, near where the Women's Soccer World Cup was about to start. But Prime Minister Chris Hipkins says there was no more threat.
The government's spoken to FIFA organisers this morning, and the tournament will proceed as planned.
And right afterward, New Zealand won the opening game, beating Norway. Somebody somewhere in California is having a good day. The Powerball ticket they bought in L.A. was the only winner of a $1.08 billion jackpot, the 6th biggest lottery prize ever. America's listening to Fox News.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation's Let Us Do Good Village in Land O'Lakes, Florida, is a community that will have about 100 homes for the foundation's program participants. 2 families have already moved in. A Gold Star family and the family of a severely injured veteran moved into the community's first smart home. It's a special place where together families can heal. Make the Let Us Do Good Village the first of many communities like it. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
That huge data breach from a few weeks ago has probably moved off your radar, but your information could still be on the dark web. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious activity, like someone using your info. If there's a problem, LifeLock's U.S.-based identity restoration specialists will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock will help protect your identity long after this breach is forgotten. Save up to 25% your first year. Use promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com.
We have some sunshine this morning, and we currently have 63 degrees. WIBX News Time, 8:03. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Coming up, we are getting several messages via the app on the complete streets, downtown traffic, Genesee Street. We'll read and share those comments coming up in just a couple of minutes, and you can weigh in as well on the app or at 315-736-0186. But it looks like the downtown Utica traffic pattern on Genesee Street will be going back to 4 lanes. There's a new push to have, speaking of driving, New York drivers pay less when they get traffic tickets, and in particular speeding tickets. A bill would cap surcharges to a maximum of 10% of the original fine. There is an assembly member behind it who feels the current prices don't make sense. He says a $45 ticket could end up costing $300 or more after all the fees and other things are tacked on. New York State giving the green light for marijuana to be sold at concerts and festivals. The Office of Cannabis Management voted for it yesterday, allowing 212 more retail licenses. Now, this means farmers can sell their products outside dispensaries. That includes edibles and vape cartridges, but smoking still won't be allowed, they say, at public events. Governor Kathy Hochul announcing the state will spend more money on electric vehicle recharging infrastructure and rebates for those who put them in. $29 million going toward the Drive Clean Debate program. New York State reached 150,000 EVs on the road last month. And officials say that some of the tax credits that could be put in place for purchasing an electric vehicle would amount to up to $2,000 for each driver. And Micron is asking for massive tax breaks to build its semiconductor plant in Central New York in the town of Clay. The tech company is requesting property tax relief and an exemption on sales tax on both the local and state levels. Those breaks are in exchange for their promise of $100 billion worth of investments in the region over the next 2 decades. WIBX News Time is coming up on 8:06. Right now we have some sunshine. We have 63 degrees. Here's what we can expect later today. Your forecast coming to you from Eyewitness News.
Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today becoming warmer, more humid. Late day shower or thunderstorm mainly to the west, but much of the day will be dry. A high of 85. Tonight, the risk of showers and thunderstorms increases. Low 65. Tomorrow, not as warm with scattered showers and thunder. Breezy, turning less humid late with any showers tapering. High 78. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Right now, we have some sunshine and 63 degrees at 8:06. All right, in sports, the Yankees lose again. They were swept by the Angels. I'll go quick here. Last night's final was, do you really care? You know they lost. 7-3 was the final. Carlos Rodon charged with the loss. The Mets ran their winning streak to 3 games as they beat the White Sox last night. Justin Verlander was on. He threw 8 innings, picked up the victory. Brett Beatty hit a home run. The Mets, fourth in the NL East at 45-50. They look for a sweep against the White Sox as the two teams close out their series this afternoon. Elsewhere, the Open Championship getting underway this morning. Another golf's 4th and final major championship at Royal Liverpool in England. Cameron Smith is the defending champion as he won at St. Andrews last year. He'll be golfing today alongside Xander Schauffele and Wyndham Clark. Rory McIlroy, another favorite, is hoping to collect his second straight victory as he won the Scottish Open last week. He'll be with Justin Rose and John Rahm today. And then the women's soccer team. The 9th edition of the Women's World Cup kicks off in New Zealand today. The host nation will square off against Norway. Excuse me. Australia is joint hosting the event and will kick off against Ireland in the following match from Sydney. The U.S. women begin their tournament on Friday against Vietnam. I believe the United States is ranked number 1 in this tournament, and Vietnam is ranked number 32. So I think if you're into sports betting, there might be a bet on, is it 6-0, 6-0? Is it 8-0?
Did you watch the men's World Cup when it was?
Yeah.
I was surprised at the style of play because I expected soccer to be much faster, running up and down the field. And it was so amazing to me to see the play, how slow it was, and the importance it was just to possess the ball. It seemed like each team wanted to possess and control the time of possession and keep it until just that right opportunity to take a shot and score. Yeah. It wasn't like a fast-paced game like you'd expect. Like you watch a high school game or a college game, up and down, up and down. It just seemed like it was slower paced.
You know, it's funny you say that because if I'm not mistaken, I could be slightly off on this. The championship game, didn't the two biggest stars, each had a hat trick? Wasn't the final 4-3? I think Messi had 3 goals.
Yeah.
And
you talking about the men's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of the
it was
Mbappe. Was that his name? The other guy who had the 3 goals.
And it was 2 teams that were not expected to be there. There were so many upsets throughout the World Cup. The finals were like 2 teams that were complete total underdogs, which was amazing.
Yeah, I'd like to typically root for the underdog. Let me just one more thing in sports here. Oneida County Senior Legion Baseball, the championship coming up today. Utica Post against Whitestown at 5:00. The winner there will take on Adrian Post at 7:30. Both of those games are at Renane Field. We've got some comments coming in on downtown Utica's traffic. It's going back to 4 lanes. We'll get to those via the app in a second. Joe Lode's on the line. I don't know if this is traffic or if he's got something to plug. What's up, Joe?
Good morning. Listen, no, you just clarified it because I thought I was hearing things on the way to the North Country today that you said it is going back to 4 lanes downtown.
Well, they voted to return to 4 lanes. When it's actually going to happen, don't take my word for it.
Yeah, but at least we know it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, they voted before to make permanent this style, the 3 lanes, but they said the 2 bike lanes don't count, that they weren't going to be bike lanes. I don't know. Again, I think we came up with they were inmate escape lanes. That's inmate, right? That's what those are. So I don't know. They voted before to make this permanent, if I'm not mistaken. Now they voted to go back to 4 lanes. I couldn't tell you when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen.
Yeah, and Celeste's friend was obviously against it, right? Because she likes her little safe streets there.
Yes, she was against going back to 4 lanes, yes.
Yeah, that's why everybody needs to be against voting for her. But anyway, so it's a beautiful day. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the smog and the Canadian smoke. It's gone. It's dissipated here in the North Country, so it's beautiful. Get out of the city, get out here and enjoy nature at its finest.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's supposed to be a decent day today. Yesterday was good, and I'm glad the smoke is gone, Joe.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and great time to get out of the city, head up north, and check out what the finer parts of New York State are all about.
Is there something in particular that you're pushing us toward this weekend?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can go to, but not in particular. No, there's nothing really for me to plug except for maybe tomorrow they have the community harvest in Boonville where there's a farmer's market and music and fun and food vendors, and that's a great time. Get out of the city. That's all I can say. Get out there and check out nature.
All right, and coming up tomorrow, we'll actually talk with Carl Trainer about the upcoming Boonville Oneida County Fair. Now, there's a reason to go up there next week.
I was with Carl yesterday, unfortunately, for the funeral services for Brian from the White Lake Inn, who passed away this past weekend. Had a rough weekend, again with Brian and my buddy Mike Santillo and John leaving. I mean, it's just crazy. But get out there and enjoy life before you don't have it anymore,
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Joe. Thanks for the call.
All right, you guys have a great day.
You too. He's always so positive. Joe is, he's right. He's absolutely right. Enjoy it. Appreciate it.
He's very
Don't
jolly.
take it for granted.
Very jolly.
And he's a very positive guy. All right, some comments here. I'm going to go. This is the opposite of positive. Somebody's criticizing you. I knew this was coming. It was France and Argentina who played in the championship game. However, Clag, is that his name? In Stittville says, heavy underdogs in the Men's World Cup. He could not be more wrong in making that comment. The both of them were the top 5 teams. The both of them were top 5 teams going into the World Cup.
Oh, and good.
I know Mbappe and Messi were among the best. They're among the best players in the world. I don't know.
But it's important that we got it right. I'm glad that I was wrong, and I feel good that I was corrected, and we got the information right.
Phil in Frankfurt on the traffic pattern downtown. He says she is a giant flip-flopper. What else did he say here? I think there's more to this. He's talking about Celeste's friend, although I don't know if she's a flip-flopper. She's been pretty consistently behind this. She didn't change her position. Other members on the council changed their vote. She's been for this the whole time, unless I'm mistaken. Who else here? Another comment. The traffic lights, I thought, were part of the hospital going up. Were these lights ordered for the hospital or because of complete streets? I actually had another message come in as well, and it was actually from Samantha Colosimo Testa, who said, the lights that Celeste was referring to were actually for the hospital, not for Genesee Street and the Complete Streets project. So there seems to be a question there on that. Another comment here. This comes from Sir in Utica. When I drive North Genesee Street around 2:30 p.m., I wait for the light 2 or 3 times at Elizabeth Street corner. The light at Bleecker Street is always the opposite color of the light, so we just sit there and can't move. Often one car can get through, sometimes 2. Will this new plan alleviate that problem? Well, they're going back to the old traffic pattern, so I think the congestion that has been experienced down there will be less because there's the 4 lanes, so you can spread out.
Is there anything more stressful than traffic, though? Like, I mean, it irritates people.
You're right, but I've always argued we don't have traffic here.
I didn't not compared to other cities.
No,
it's very mild.
What do you deal with in what, Saratoga or Albany?
Saratoga, Albany.
We don't have traffic here.
Yeah, you're going on the Northway, it's a nightmare. You're going on Route 50, it's a nightmare.
I have the same reaction to people in this area when either they tell me I was stuck in traffic or they saw Bigfoot. I go, okay, yeah, I'm sure you did. It's really not something we have to deal with that often. Although people have sent me pictures of traffic backed up on Genesee Street in Utica, so I can't dispute that. People have sent pictures of long lines of traffic, and it has been since they've gone to this Complete Streets design or the 3-lane design or however we want to describe it.
You can't please everyone.
No, you can't.
You try to. But you just can't do it. You just can't do it.
We'll try to please somebody coming up in about 15 or 20 minutes. We're going to try to give away Hobeika's money to somebody. So be listening for your chance to win with the Hobeika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. We'll do that just after 8:30. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Are you a registered nurse with a passion for making a difference in the lives of others? Do you have a desire to work in a supportive and compassionate environment? If so, hospice and palliative care may be the perfect opportunity for you. We're currently seeking a registered nurse to join our team. As a hospice registered nurse, you'll have the opportunity to provide one-on-one nursing care and emotional support to patients and their families during a difficult time in their lives. You'll develop and implement care plans to meet the needs of your patients and to ensure that they receive the highest quality of care possible. At Hospice and Palliative Care, we believe that everyone deserves compassionate and dignified end-of-life care. If you share the same commitment to excellence and are looking for a fulfilling career working Monday through Friday in hospice care, we would love to hear from you. To learn more about this opportunity, please visit hospicecareinc.org. That's hospicecareinc.org. Or call us today. Thank you for considering hospice as your next career destination.
The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients right now. If you're in need of a new family doctor or a new physician, a private practitioner, maybe your doctor is retired or you're looking for something different, the answer is in Washington Mills at the Falcon Clinic. This is Bill Keeler. Call today. Sleep, fatigue, pain, ADHD. You're not feeling well. You need an annual checkup. You need a physical. And it goes even further if you needed counseling. There's counseling for everything from smoking addiction to substance abuse, acupuncture, all under one roof. And then there's the osteopathic approach. the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, the Falcon Clinic, is accepting patients right now. Call them today. Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Kosminski, all there under one roof. Call 315-507-4751 for the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top-quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. All month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is celebrating America with their Made in America sale. Stop in today and explore their extensive inventory and their many new arrivals for every room in your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse style, and traditional. Are you looking for a better night's sleep? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or Gold Bond flippable mattresses. Once you select the perfect piece for your space, they can deliver it locally for free of charge, or you can pick it up yourself from the showroom. So stop in to Adirondack Home Furniture today and celebrate America with the Made in America sale going on now. Adirondack Home Furniture in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck is ready with coffee, espresso, lattes, iced coffee, and, of course, fresh bagels and fresh donuts every single day. Try the pistachio latte this summer. It is delicious, and it is a quencher. It's Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, back here on First News with Keeler in the morning. It is 8:21. Bill is back with us on Monday morning. You can still send your comments or call them in regarding the change back to 4 lanes Genesee Street in downtown Utica. Rick Lewis from the Capitol Arts Complex is joining us now. And I always love having Rick in because you guys do out-of-the-box stuff, and you make simple stuff fun. So you're always putting a different spin on things, and you're doing it once again. You're doing a drive-in movie night where you don't drive in.
Right. Well, we hope nobody tries to drive in because it's going to be inside the Capitol Theater. It's been going on. They've been doing this a long time for many, many years at the Capitol, and it's a twin feature like you'd see in a movie, you'd see in a drive-in. And this is the part about it that most people will notice the drive-in food and that sort of stuff that they have in the trailers and the old concession stand cartoons. But the thing that nobody thinks about is the projectionist upstairs. We have the old school real film projector running. And it's quite a chore for people to do because now you have somebody at a multiplex and, you've been working 2 weeks. What's your job? I have to hit buttons 1, 3, and 5 to start the movies. And then I check, But to do the carve arc, and it's quite an art to do. It's a continuous working a process, and that people don't see, but there are a lot of people who want to see 35 millimeter film projection, so we present it in that.
So what people are watching inside the theater it'll kind of have the look of the film, the look of the presentation, the color of the screen will have that feel like it's a drive-in.
Right, exactly.
Some of the ads, you're playing food, so some of the smells and the tastes will be like a drive-in.
Right.
What are the movies you're playing?
The movies. Are you ready for this? Curse of the Demon, and then It.
So
The Terror from Beyond Space.
2 scary movies?
Well, I guess they might be scary if you're too young to drive. If you're a decade too young to drive. But come on, don't
Maybe
you
I'm
remember
wrong.
the cheesy monster movies? It's one.
Yes.
The kind of movies they played at drive-ins because a lot of people weren't actually watching the movie. They had those big cars with those big back seats, and
can you tell us none of that'll be going on?
I don't think there will be.
Okay, fingers crossed. Yeah,
people be hiding out in the balcony up there in the back. You never can tell. But But yeah, it's quite a thing to go back. You know, people. It seems kind of strange. We're in an era where everything's modernized, but then people do things like, I like records. Records, those things that have those scratchy sounds. Well, you know, they sound better. No, I don't know. And then a friend of mine has a coffee house, and they take pictures of all the customers. And he says, you know, to me and a friend of mine, hey, let me take your picture. And I go, okay. I go, what is that? Oh, it's a Polaroid. A Polaroid?
Yeah, these are popular again,
yeah,
too.
you know, I mean, here you can take pictures instantly.
You know what it is? I'm trying to remember what the item was. I was just at my mother's helping her with something, and something I saw that was like an old toy of mine. It was like just happened to be stuffed in the back of a closet or something. And just even for a split second, you get that feeling that you had whatever it was relevant in your life.
Right.
It kind of takes you back, even for a split second, that feel, that mindset, where you were however many years ago.
Well,
and that's all the nostalgia, the feeling of pulling your picture out with a Polaroid instead of, you know, looking at the 8 pictures you just took in a row and deleting the ones you don't like. It takes people to a place that makes them feel good.
Well, yeah, you know, and I would imagine a lot of the people who like this retro gaming and all that kind of stuff, I don't think they were around too much when those things were hot items.
Right.
So I guess, you know, maybe when I was growing up, I'm a little older than you, you look back and they go, oh, the 50s and the 60s. Now it's like, yo, man, the 80s. You got to get into the 80s and the 90s. And what did they do? We had Polaroid cameras. One item that I do really, in a sort of a way, kind of miss. I used to work in you'd rent time to use the computers. And so I ran a computer center, and it was all Macs. And what I liked about it was if I'd had a lot of work to do, and it was personal work, I could work on one machine, go to the next, because they were slow.
Yeah.
And I'd have something going on 5 different machines, and I'd be able to sit and think about what I'm going to do next. Yeah. Whereas now, you type something in, and then the computer's looking at you like, hey, dummy, I'm ready to go. What are you going to do next? Oh, jeez. And it's faster than you are.
Yep.
So I kind of, like to slow things down a little bit, and I guess taking a look into the past, go into the drive-in, bring the kids, wear your pajamas, and then do things, So
when you were looking back, you said people remember the 50s or the 60s, and now it's what about the 80s? Cully, if I'm not mistaken, earlier this morning you said, can't we go back to 1984, 1985, mid-80s? One of those years when you were talking about, what were we talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about 1985. We were talking about
wrestling?
Netflix.
Oh, Netflix maybe.
Because they made Stranger Things, which is a show about the 80s.
Yes.
Cobra Kai, which was based off The Karate Kid, which was made in 1984. So there's a lot of nostalgia with the 80s because people who didn't experience it kind of get a glimpse of what it was and what it was about. And like you
completely
said,
don't understand it.
It may not be as good as we thought it was, but it's built up over the years into something exceptional. And by the way, I'm terrified of it still. The movie. You wouldn't get me caught dead watching it. I'm terrified of that clown. Pennywise. I don't want to go anywhere near Pennywise. So I'm scared of him.
Have clown issues.
Clown is well. He's the clown is the 21st century. This it is from. This is it. The terror from beyond space. This is like in that era where everything was radioactive, and there's a 50-foot woman, and there's a giant whatever ant, and it's one of those kind of movies. This thing is hidden in a spaceship, and they come back to Earth. It's real hokey stuff. You can see the strings probably with the flying the rocket ship.
So it's like that movie Plan 9 from Outer Space. They say is the worst movie ever made.
That's a bad movie, and that's about the same era.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's about the same era. So, and I think there's a bit of nostalgia to watch those kind of things.
Absolutely.
Today you get to watch all these. Look at the beautiful computer-generated graphics and the smooth animation. But you know what?
It's a little hokey.
Yeah. There's more effort in going into the production of the quality of the actual material, like seeing, it's a beautiful,
the visuals,
wonderful visual.
Yeah,
it's a crappy story.
The story,
and it's just,
not written well.
Yeah. Whereas before it was like you were making a story, and everything you did, you really had to make sure it was correct. Because, a film would cost a fortune if you had a bad reel of film or a camera, and a still camera or a movie camera or a recording studio. It used to be a big deal. Hey, we're going to make a record. Stop the presses, they're making a record. Now, you record on your phone 25 times a day, walking around, taking hundreds of pictures. And I think that having a drive-in brings you back to that era. And you can bring a steering wheel from your car, but don't drive the car into the Capitol.
Yeah, please don't. Remind us again about the details.
That it's going to be Friday, which is tomorrow, 7 o'clock, and there'll be the 2 features. And, of course, that'll be the intermission in there with a concession stand and all that kind of stuff will be going on.
Curse of the Demon and
It, the terror from beyond space.
You've got a great voice, Rick. You have a great movie voice. You really do.
So
8:30. Can we get more information online also?
Yeah, you can go to RomeCapital.com, and there's a bunch of information about both films, and you can get a ticket.
Rick Lewis from the Rome Capitol Theater. Thank you so much.
All right.
It is 8:30. We'll take a quick time out. More coming up. First news, Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM.
Fred F. Collis and Sons, heating
like
and cooling and insulation. And with all the smoke pollution we've been dealing with this spring and summer, maintaining good indoor quality is more important than ever. Call on Fred F. Collis and Sons to make sure your indoor air quality solutions are perfect for your home. This is Bill Keeler. Let's talk about cooling, as it's been so hot this summer. Collis has many different options for you. First, it could mean repairing your AC and bringing it up to tip-top shape, or possibly a heat pump. A perfect idea for cooling. A popular type of heat pump that Collis is proud to offer is the ductless mini split. And they have great programs available through the state to assist you in getting financing on the program, and in some cases, some people have had the entire project paid for. Another important step is keeping your home cool all summer long with upgrades to your home's insulation. And speaking of insulation, Collis is hiring for insulation installers. No experience necessary. They're holding an open interview day at their Yorkville office on Commercial Drive, Wednesday, July 19th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. No experience required. They're also looking to hire a crew leader, and that would require experience. You can go to their website, fredfcollis.com. There's a place right there to actually apply right online. Call them, 315-768-2323. Fred F. Collis & Sons, Heating, Cooling, and Insulation, Yorkville, Rome, and Syracuse.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information for young families. If you have young children, you face unique challenges that must be addressed when considering your estate planning.
Well, they, of course, have issues related to who will take care of and raise their children when they die. In addition, they have to have concerns about how the assets are maintained and managed after their death. They need to utilize trusts, and of course, they need to have life insurance to protect their children for future costs.
Blended families face unique circumstances and legal issues that must be considered with their estate planning.
How do we make sure that all of the children from both families receive some sort of inheritance? Oftentimes we'll use very special techniques in our wills, or we'll use IRAs or life insurance to make sure they receive an inheritance. They are all very special challenges.
To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Do you feel like your current checking account just isn't working for you anymore? Maybe monthly fees are cutting into your already tight budget, or maybe you're looking for more convenience with additional bells and whistles that allow you to accomplish more with less work. Whatever your reason, it might be a great time for you to check out the lineup of accounts at Adirondack Bank. From no-frills basic accounts to paperless high-yield accounts, we're sure to have the perfect solution for your needs. We also offer a large selection of extras such as customizable debit cards, electronic statements, online banking and bill pay, mobile banking, and mobile deposit. We also have a great client services team ready to answer your questions with our live chat. Visit our website at www.adkbank.com. Use the checking comparison tool and see which options are best for you. That's adkbank.com. Member FDIC.
If you're in need of concrete driveways, sidewalks, foundation repair, it's Brank Construction. This is Bill Keeler. Masonry and concrete work, stairs, cellarway entrances, basement floors, garage floors. Call Brank today. They'll get the job done right and right on time. 315-894-3481. Located in Frankfort, but servicing all of upstate New York. Stone walls repaired, built, retaining walls, and, of course, concrete driveways and sidewalks. If it's concrete or masonry work, there's nobody any better than Brank Construction. Call them today. 315-894-3481. 315-894-3481 for Brank Construction.
The reviews are in, and the 2023 Glimmerglass Festival is a resounding triumph. The Glimmerglass Festival is a world-renowned summer opera and musical theater festival that's been presenting innovative, rare, and familiar works of opera and classic Broadway for nearly 50 years in a summer-long celebration of the arts. Located just minutes from Cooperstown, Glimmerglass is an easy day trip from anywhere in the Mohawk Valley. This year's festival runs through August 20th with productions that speak to the aspirations, curiosity, and passions of growing up, and what can happen when life doesn't always play along. Visit glimmerglass.org to purchase tickets for Puccini's La Boheme, Bernstein's Candide, Gounod's Romeo and Juliet, Handel's Ronaldo, and a world premiere youth opera. There's still time for you to make the Glimmerglass Festival a highlight of your summer experiences in the Cooperstown region. Truly a one-of-a-kind summer destination and just a short drive from anywhere in the Mohawk Valley. Join us and see for yourself why there's no place quite like Glimmerglass.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, back here on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX. We are up on YouTube this morning. Anytime you're looking for the Keeler Show on YouTube, just search Keeler Live, and today's program will come up, and then you'll see a list of our previous programs, except for the last 2 days, because I had computer issues and I couldn't get the stream going. So as long as everything is cooperating, that's the best way to find the stream on YouTube. Just search Keeler Live. If it's later in the day and you want to see a previous show, just search Keeler Live and then put in that date. So like Monday, July, what was Monday, the 17th? Monday, July 17th. As an example, I turned... Bill turns your mic off.
He's smart,
keep forgetting to turn your mic on.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
We'll go to the introduce our next guest. This is a friend of yours.
Yeah, it's a friend of mine, Terry McLowry. Terry, I don't even recall. Who do you work for again?
Oh, wait. You know what? I got to pull him up here. Good morning, Terry. I'm sorry for the delay. Go ahead.
How you guys doing?
Go.
Steve, I work for ConMed.
That's it.
A Utica favorite.
My brother works for ConMed, doesn't he?
No,
he doesn't. Okay. Well, anyway, we were talking about driving on Genesee Street. It's going from 4 lanes to 2 lanes. How would you describe me as a driver? Am I a good driver?
You are a terrifying driver.
So wait. You've always been terrifying, or just since you lost your leg?
Oh no, I've always been a terrifying
you've always
driver.
been terrifying. Okay.
Yeah. And Terry had a funny story that I wanted him to tell about me driving. And Terry, if you would like to explain, I know you only have a few minutes, but it's worth it.
Is this the winter story?
Yeah, you can tell the winter story.
Oh, you have seasonal stories.
Well, there's a couple of them. So several years back at this point now, I was living in Connecticut, and my phone rings in the middle of winter. It's Steve Cully, and he says, Terry, I need your help. I don't know what to do. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, I'm at the bottom of Genesee Street in a ditch. And I said, well, I'm your first call in Connecticut, and you're sitting in a ditch off the side of the road. He goes, yeah, well, you always know what to do. And I said, Steve, I've been in your car maybe 4 times, and I'm always terrified, staring out the window. I know you have a AAA sticker on your car. Call AAA. They'll give you a free tow. A little while later, he calls me back. He got towed out. Very thankful. About 4 hours later, he calls me again. He said, Terry, you got to help me. I don't know what to do. I said, what, Steve? He goes, I'm back in the ditch.
It was the same ditch.
It was a separate accident?
Same ditch.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Same ditch, separate accident. Hours later, he did not learn from his mistakes and slid straight into the next ditch.
Yeah. And I had to call.
That sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, and I had to call for help. And the other thing I called Terry when I was in Albany, I accidentally put what was it? What fuel did I put in my car, Terry?
Steve calls and said, Terry, I don't know what to do. You got to help me. He goes, I put diesel fuel in my car. Is that okay? And I said, Steve, that is not okay. I don't even know how you got the diesel in your car, but whatever you do, don't drive it. He goes, well, I'm not that far from home. I feel like I can just drive home and it'll be fine. I said, Steve, it's not going to be fine. And he said, I'll call you back. I'm going to call AAA. A little while later, he calls me back. He goes, I made it home. And I'm like, oh, my God, Steve. The driver, I guess the AAA driver showed up at his house, and they said if he had driven another mile, his car would have been totaled.
Wow.
Yeah, and the shop that I took it to, the guy said in 30 years of owning the shop, he had never heard of anyone putting diesel fuel in his car.
How did you not know that? Were you being silly? How do you not know that?
The diesel fuel is normally shaped differently, so it doesn't fit in your gas tank.
Oh, is that right? I know it's usually different color, too, the pump.
This was an older gas station, so
it was a mistake.
Yeah, it was a mistake. Yeah, so I filled my car up with diesel fuel. And the mechanic said in 30 years, I've never seen that happen before. That's incredible. So that's
yeah. I mean, my biggest memory of you driving, not necessarily a specific memory. It's just that you have an inability to drive in a curve. You drive in line segments, so it's just like constantly jerking the wheel around a turn every time you're on the road.
That's funny.
Instead of just a natural, glide like that, I kind of jerk a little bit back and forth. So yeah.
So Terry, anytime you're in the car with him, why don't you just drive? I will never drive with you anywhere, dude. There's no way.
So Steve doesn't really drink, so it was usually the case of me being inebriated and picking the lesser of two evils.
Gotcha.
But he probably would be a better drunk driver than me driving sober.
It sounds like it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but if we were on a course where there was no, nothing could go wrong and it was safety padded, I would bet on him to beat you under the influence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also,
absolutely.
So, no doubt about it.
So yeah.
All right. Well, Terry, on that note, stay safe out there, drive careful, and don't get in the car with Steve Cully.
Never again, sir. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for having me. All right. Bye-bye.
It is 8:42 here at WIBX. Keeler is back live on Monday, and I keep doing this. Bill does the contest usually at 7:40. The
whole
bike law firm free money question of the day. I do it at like 8:40 because I'm always running late, and I'm always punting it into the final hour of the show. So we're going to do that now. Smitty, caller number... Go ahead. Go ahead.
Caller 5.
It's radio.
Caller 5.
Caller 5. 315-736-0186. Your shot at $200. First news, Keeler in the morning on WIBX. While we get our caller up, we'll go to Mike Michonne, giving us an update on Legion baseball. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Jeff. I just want to give a quick update on Legion and encourage everybody to come out today. It's the last day for determining who the which team will advance into the New York State Finals that'll be held in Binghamton. So the card tonight is the 5 o'clock game will be between Whitestown and Utica Post, and the second game, which will determine the champion, is going to be between the winner of that game and Adrian Post. So this is kind of a unique thing. We haven't had this situation in quite a while under different circumstances, of course, between bad air and rain. But it's making for a real exciting finish.
Yeah, it should be exciting tonight. As you mentioned, The two teams will play at 5 o'clock, and that's what, Whitestown, you said, and Utica Post.
Yes, correct. At Moraine Field.
They both had great regular seasons, 12-5 and 14-3. I see Adrian at 8-8, but they just got hot at the right time, right?
Yeah, they really came along with the bats, and they've got some timely pitching. So, it looks like, the final game, like we always hope, this is going to be an exciting game. But to get there is where the real battle is going to take place.
All right, so 5 o'clock is the semifinal at Moraine Field, as you mentioned. And then the Oneida County Senior Legion Championship game, 7:30 tonight, also at Moraine Field. Mike, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, take care. And get out there, and it's good baseball. It's a good time, and it should be a good day today. So make sure you head out there. Again, Oneida County Senior Legion, Utica and Whitestown at 5, and then Adrian plays the winner of that game in the championship game at 7:30. Smitty is telling me line 4 is Nina. Nina? Nina. Good morning, Nina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. All right. So 315-736-0186. I lost my question. All right. For $200 from the Hobica Law Firm, this is related to AI. Are you scared of AI?
Yeah, somewhat.
All right. James Cameron is a legendary Canadian film director, screenwriter, and producer. According to Wiki, he's a major figure in the post-New Hollywood era. Cameron is considered one of the industry's most innovative filmmakers. Cameron has been coming out recently and talking about this with everybody freaking out about artificial intelligence. He says he tried to warn us with one of his iconic movies more than 25 years ago. Do you know the name of that movie? Ready, go.
Like James Cameron movie I could think of is Titanic.
Titanic is one of his movies. It's not that movie, though. Titanic is among the movies he's known for. Sorry, I'm struggling here with my internet. What else was he known for, Cully?
Terminator.
Terminator was the answer. There was another movie, though, too, right? I mean, there's many movies, but
Avatar.
Avatar. We were kicking him around this morning. Avatar is another huge one for him. Of course, he's got several. But the AI movie that he refers to, that he warned us what was coming and that the computers will try to take over, was the movie Terminator
2.
Well, and 1, right?
Yeah.
Or
but
just 2?
The answer to the question, 25 years ago, I believe, was Terminator 2.
All right, so we're not going to send Nina away empty-handed. She gets a Utica all-in-one food and fun gift card, $25. It's good for food at Aquavino, Babe, 72, Taylor and the Cook, and the concession stands at the Adirondack Bank Center. Of course, the Utica Comet season is just around the corner. Nina, thanks for playing today.
Thank you.
315-736-0186. We'll take our final break. I have a couple more comments on the downtown Utica the traffic pattern. We'll also touch base with John Decker to get the latest in Washington. He's actually flying with the president today and will be on Air Force One. We'll talk to him coming up in just a few minutes here on WIBX.
The Rome Capitol Theater presents Drive-In Double Feature Night, Friday at 7. Projected on 35mm film. Curse of the Demon and It, the Terror from Beyond Space. Plus vintage drive-in trailers, coming attractions, and drive-in style food and concessions. It's the Drive-In Double Feature experience inside the Capitol Theater, Friday night at 7. For advance sale tickets and more information, visit RomeCapital.com.
Check out Mattress Express's grand opening of their new superstore in New Hartford, 4488 Commercial Drive next to Pet Supply Plus, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy Hybrid, Purple, Puffy, The Number Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, and more. Stop in, open 7 days a week.
Hello, I'm Joanne Moskal, Chief Operating Officer for Hospice and Palliative Care. At Hospice, we often hear that caregivers think of hospice as giving up, but what they are really doing is giving their loved one the opportunity to make the most of the time they have together. When a patient is appropriate for hospice, they've already been diagnosed with a terminal illness. You are not giving up on your loved one. Instead, you are increasing their care by compassionate nurses to ensure they remain comfortable throughout their disease. We want to know what is most important to you and what a good day looks like to the patient and to you. Together, we will design the care you want on your terms. We often hear, we wish we had called hospice sooner.
Hospice and Palliative Care, servicing Oneida, Herkimer, and Madison County. Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, 315-735-6484, or visit us at hospicecareinc.org. Hospice and Palliative Care. When you need us most.
Do you feel like your current checking account just isn't working for you anymore? Maybe monthly fees are cutting into your already tight budget. Or maybe you're looking for more convenience with additional bells and whistles that allow you to accomplish more with less work. Whatever your reason, it might be a great time for you to check out the lineup of accounts at Adirondack Bank. From no-frills basic accounts to paperless high-yield accounts, we're sure to have the perfect solution for your needs. We also offer a large selection of extras such as customizable debit cards, electronic statements, online banking and bill pay, mobile banking, and mobile deposit. We also have a great client services team ready to answer your questions with our live chat. Visit our website at www.adkbank.com. Use the checking comparison tool and see which options are best for you. That's adkbank.com. Member FDIC.
If you're looking for flooring, boy, do I have the perfect place for you. This is Bill Keeler, and I highly recommend in Sarah's Flooring Outlet, the area's leading flooring store. They have the absolute largest inventory in Central New York, and it's a brand new store at the Route 49 Plaza in Marcy. And if you're looking for Pergo Extreme, they have a price guarantee anywhere in the area within a 60-mile radius of their store. It's a pretty awesome deal, and you know you're going to get the best deal at Insera's. Log on to their website at inserasflooringoutlet.com and sign up to save $50 off your next purchase of $500 or more. You can shop online or in the store. You will not find a better selection than Insera's Flooring Outlet. See why more people buy from the big store. Its selection, its price, and it's a 6-month interest-free financing. Log on to the website, inserasflooringoutlet.com, and see for yourself or visit their store. Insera's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road in Marcy.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, back for our final segment here on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM. Bill is back with us on Monday morning. We will close the show with a couple final thoughts from listeners on the traffic pattern downtown going back to 4 lanes. We'll hear from Cindy and Phil coming up in just a minute. But joining us now, a special guest who we talk to each Thursday. And today, he's going to be flying on Air Force One with President Joe Biden to Philadelphia. It is John Decker of Gray TV. Good morning, John. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Jeff. Thanks for having me on today. That's right. We leave in about an hour and a half or so. Very short flight, maybe 25 minutes up in the air, and it's a very quick trip to Philadelphia. The president will be touting what he sees as the benefits of what he calls Bidenomics. So that will be at the Philadelphia Shipyard in Philadelphia, and I'll be back at the White House by 4 in the afternoon. So quick trip up to Philadelphia today on Air Force One, but always a thrill to fly on Air Force One.
Sounds like today will be a busy day. Certainly yesterday was busy with the testimony in front of lawmakers in regard to the IRS whistleblowers, and the case against Hunter Biden.
Well, that's right. You know, this was covered extensively by Fox News, wasn't covered, however, by CNN and MSNBC. They chose not to cover this at all. And yesterday, the White House press briefing, only one question was asked at the White House press briefing about this hearing that was going on at the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue. And it was yours truly who asked a question at the White House press briefing about that. Simply wanted to get an idea as to what the White House feels about this hearing. And I asked Karine Jean-Pierre whether there's any reason to disbelieve the allegations coming forward by these 2 IRS whistleblowers. And you probably should not be surprised here that she did not answer that question directly, Jeff.
Not a surprise to me. She's very athletic and flexible because she does backflips and all kinds of things up there at the podium, sometimes dodging these questions. Here's my question for you, though.
Yes.
Is this all he said, she said, or is there something of substance there? Is this someone's opinion on how the investigation was handled, or is there something actionable that we've learned about?
Well, I think that's a really good question. So to a certain extent, it is he said, but we didn't hear the other person to hear their side of the story. Who I'm referring to is the U.S. Attorney for Delaware, David Weiss. I think that was a big mistake, by the way, that we didn't hear from David Weiss at all, in the sense that Mr. Comer, James Comer, the chair of the House Oversight Committee, chose not to invite David Weiss to testify at this hearing. I would have loved to have heard from him testify under oath. We did not hear from him yesterday, maybe at a future hearing, because I would like to hear him respond to some of the allegations being put forward by these two IRS whistleblowers.
Yeah, because what happens is the allegation is made or the comments are made, and then maybe another media outlet says what was said at the hearing has been completely debunked. And it hasn't, but we never get to the bottom of it. There's never, 1 and 1 doesn't seem to make 2. It's just opinion and allegations.
No, that's exactly right. So to me, it was an incomplete hearing that we saw and watched and heard yesterday. And Mr. Comer, that's his job. He's chair of the House Oversight Committee. It's the job to put these hearings together to get the relevant witnesses. And maybe there'll be a future time where he'll put additional witnesses under oath and hear their side of the story. David Weiss, the U.S. Attorney for Delaware, is one individual. Also, the former U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, that's another person whose name came up at the hearing, who did not want to take up an investigation into Hunter Biden. Those are the people that I also want to hear from as we evaluate this story.
We're talking with John Decker of Great TV. He's the only member of the White House press corps with a law degree, and he's traveling with President Joe Biden today. We appreciate his time. I know we're short on time. Before I let you go, the Trump target letter.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, a target letter is when an individual receives a letter from the Department of Justice indicating that federal prosecutors have evidence tying them to a specific crime or crimes. And that's what Donald Trump received, according to Donald Trump. He put that out on a social media site, and he expects, his lawyers expect an indictment to soon follow. This all has to do with the January 6th investigation, and we learned from the Wall Street Journal the focus in terms of what we could expect in terms of an indictment. Conspiracy to defraud the U.S., that may have to do with a fake elector scheme. Also, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. That is the official proceeding they're referring to is counting the electoral college ballots. And also an interesting item was witness tampering or obstruction of justice. Obviously, we don't know the details of that just yet, but we could see that indictment being put forward by the grand jury as early as today or tomorrow, or it could be a number of weeks. But that is what Donald Trump is expecting in the short term.
All right. He's all over the place, and he's flying with the president today. John Decker of Great TV, thank you so much. Always so good to talk to you.
Thank you, Jeff. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.
You too. And John Decker, again, will be flying on Air Force One with the president today and covering all the stuff that goes on in Washington each day. John Decker joins us on Thursday mornings here during our final segment for really, it's great to have. He's in there. He's in the press room. He's asking questions of Karine Jean-Pierre. He's covering the president, and obviously, as we say today, he's flying with the president. Smitty?
He's good, and he knows his stuff.
Yes, he does. And he's the only member, as I said, of the White House press corps that has a law degree.
And we're glad to have him.
Absolutely. I said I would end with this today. We talked a bit this morning about going back to the 4 lanes in downtown Utica on Genesee Street. A couple of final comments here that I'll share that came via the app. Cindy in Utica says traffic is not only backed up on Genesee Street, but on all the surrounding streets because everyone is trying to avoid the stupidity of the changes that they made to Genesee Street. Celeste and Katie need to admit that their plan is a failure. It wasn't broke and didn't need to be fixed in the first place. Again, that's from Cindy in Utica. And Phil in Frankfurt says, My wife goes down Genesee Street often, besides the horrible congestion, which she now much of the time avoids. She has not seen one bike on the great bike path while she was traveling downtown. WIBX News Time, 8:39. That's going to end this 8:59. Excuse me, 8:59. Thank you, Smitty. That's going to be our final thought of the day today here. We have one more day left. Can you tell I can't wait for Bill to come back? I'm running out of steam here on this Thursday morning. We got one more day to go, and Bill is back with us on Monday. Cully will be sitting in with us again tomorrow on the show. Another busy program. It'll be interesting. We'll get some history on an upcoming event, which goes back, I think, like 200 years. And we'll talk about a local event with some great food that many people are a part of, and then one that people will travel the country to come see this weekend in Cooperstown. A lot to cover on tomorrow's program. Be sure that you're with us. First News, Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
It's your turn to stay and play at Turning Stone Resort Casino. Enjoy award-winning hotels, dining, and live entertainment. Play the newest slots and classic table games. Check out the state's largest poker room. And don't miss our world-famous bingo hall. Turning Stone is the perfect gaming getaway. And the next big winner might be you. Turning Stone Resort Casino. It's your turn.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
This hour, before the House committee investigating what Republicans claim is the weaponization of the federal government. At issue today, political censorship. Kennedy, a presidential candidate, had his COVID posts taken down, though he claims
nothing I put on the internet was misinformation, but it was just politically inconvenient, and that's not what we do in America.
Democrats don't want to hear from Kennedy. They tried to get Republicans to disinvite him from the hearing.
Congressman Jerry Connolly told Politico that RFK Jr.'s appearance